Today I'm reviewing for you the new Charlotte Tilbury Holiday palette. This palette is absolutely stunning and it's perfect for brown skin tones. I love the black. I think the black looks super chic and beautiful. Love everything about this palette. First up, this palette is extremely brown skin friendly. I mean, they're all the shades I can use from this palette. It even has 3 smoke out shades, which are 1, 2, and 3, which I was very surprised at. Normally in palettes, you get 1 smoke out shade, 2 if you're lucky. 3 is rare, so I got super excited just because for brown skin tones, having those smoke out shades and some variation in the smoke out shades can be a little bit difficult to find. And I love the fact that this palette has 3 dedicated smoke out shades that I can use for my skin tone, and I can smoke out my outer V and my look will still be different, especially when paired with some of these other shimmers. So I really do love the fact that this is very, very brown skin friendly. Now, the other 2 matte shades that are here, I can still use them. I can use this shade to kind of buff out the outer edges. I can use this shade in the transition. It does lean a little bit cool tone. It still works really well. I've often mixed these 2 together, and that way I can get a slightly warmer transition shade that isn't too warm or that isn't too red. So I've quite enjoyed that as well. Talking about the matte formulation, all the mattes in this palette are amazing. They are soft and smooth, they are buildable, and they're so easy to blend. Wow, I really enjoyed the mattes. You're able to layer them and apply more and more product. They don't go patchy. They actually also have really great longevity even without an eye primer. They're soft, but they're not too soft. And I love this black. Like, this black doesn't swatch the best. However, you can build it very easily and you can blend it easily. And I think that's one of the harder things that I find with black eyeshadows. Blending can be a little bit difficult, and with this black it isn't. It's not difficult to blend this black at all, so I'm very happy with it. Now, in terms of the shimmer formula, Charlotte Tilbury shimmers in these sort of holiday palettes are quite similar because they are very smooth and very soft. The minute you touch these shadows, you can feel them on your finger. They will just feel incredibly soft to the touch, and they will apply so smoothly to the eye. They are also very reflective. You'll be able to see that with the swatches as well as the looks. When it comes to holiday eye palettes, this is a killer palette because these shimmers are just so reflective and such a pleasure to work with just because the formula is so soft and so smooth. I love that. There are no shades that are too similar, so when you pop them on the eye, they're more or less going to look the same. You don't have that. You have actually all the shades in this palette are very different to each other. So every time you use a shimmer or a matte shade, you're going to get a different look. So I love how versatile this is. This is definitely not a palette where you get disappointed because too many shades just look the same and you're more or less going to get the same look. Nothing like that. Every shade, every single shade in this palette is different, and it looks different on the eye as well. In terms of longevity with the shimmers is really good as well. These type of shades right here, which are a little bit soft, they don't really have a sparkle to it, they have more of a metallic sheen. These are the ones that might crease if you use them on a bare lid, so I recommend using these type of shades with a primer. However, all the other shades in this palette worked really well for me on a bare eye, on a concealed eye, on primer, and they lasted all day without creasing. Now, the only con, there's only one. I've used this palette so much and I've created so many different looks with it off camera that there's really only one con I could find with this palette, which is quite amazing actually, just one. So some of these sparkle shades, so for example, you've got one here, which is sort of this champagne color. Then you have this beautiful bronze purple shade. So these are the 3 specific shimmers that actually kind of give you a lot of fallout. So that is really the only con in this palette, is that there are 3 shades that will give you a lot of fallout. I don't mind fallout when it comes to eyeshadows, because if I know there's going to be fallout, I'll just do my eyes first, clean up that under eye area, and then go in with the rest of my makeup. What's annoying about those 3 specific shades is that they consist of very fine shimmer, and when that very fine shimmer kind of lands on your face, it's actually quite hard to clean it up. So normally I'm able to clean up shimmers just by adding moisturizer and then wiping that away, but that doesn't get rid of all the shimmer. I'm still left with a lot of teeny tiny shimmer kind of over this area right here. Now when you go in and you put your makeup on, you kind of don't see the shimmer because the shimmer is really fine. So I'm okay with it. So yes, that can be a little bit annoying, especially for those of you who don't like a lot of fallout. I think those specific 3 shades you might find a little bit annoying, but the fact that they are so fine in shimmer, after you're done with your makeup, they're really not that visible. So I'm okay with that. So talking about specific shades, these lighter shimmers right here also really impressed me. I don't often gravitate towards light shimmer shades. However, these are really beautiful and very flattering on brown skin. This green shimmer, so this is the type of green that I don't normally like for my skin tone. I don't know what it is. It's a little bit too bright for my skin, and whenever I've used it, I haven't particularly liked how it looks. In terms of quality, there's nothing wrong with this shade. It's absolute perfection. It's really, I think, comes down to personal preference as to what type of greens you like. This is not my favorite green. However, when I mix these 2 together, it's perfection. So that is currently what's on my eye at the moment. I've got this green all over the eye, and I've topped it off with this shade, which is a beautiful taupey shade right on top, which is really soften that green out so that green isn't really bright or intense, and I love how this looks now. Apart from that one con that I told you about, there's nothing else that I found in this palette that's problematic. It is perfection in terms of formulation, in terms of longevity, color selection, being brown skin friendly. It's got everything. Now let's jump into creating some looks that I did with this palette. I have concealed my eyelids, and now I'm going to go into this shade right here and apply that on the outer V. These matte eyeshadows are very, very soft. I think you can probably tell that just with how it looks as well. Beautiful color, and just going to blend it out and pull it into the crease area. I'm going to go ahead and apply a little more and bring it in. Going back with that brush number 11 and just blending that out. So now I'm going to take this beautiful shade right here. That's what the shade looks like. It's really beautiful. Oh yeah, that's so stunning. Then I'm going to take Spectrum brush number 19, and I'm just going to smooth out the shimmer right in that crease area. Now, if I wasn't wearing this dress, I would just leave this look like this. I think it looks absolutely stunning. But because I am wearing a pink dress today, I do want to turn this look a little bit pink. So I'm going to go into this shade right here, which kind of in the pan looks like a purple shade, but it definitely leans a lot more pink on my skin tone. So I'm going to grab a little bit of that. That's what the shade looks like. And I'm just going to apply that right on top. You can see that. It's a gorgeous color. This one has a sparkle, so it does tend to give me fallout, whereas the other shade really doesn't. And I'm going to leave the inner corner the way it is. I've got my concealer on, my foundation, and I've got a black eye pencil. And I want to say that this Macro Tech eye crayon, the new ones that from Natasha Denona, oh my god, This is stunning. I've used this a couple of times now and I am so impressed at how pigmented this formulation is. I mean, you can just see that. I haven't even added any black eyeshadow on top. This is just pure, deep, beautiful blackness. Oh my god, I love it. It's also very soft, so I was able to glide it very easily over the eye. Wow, I'm very impressed. Possibly the deepest pencil I currently own, including Marc Jacobs and my favorite, Shiseido. So to finish off this eye look, I am going to add just a little bit of this shade, but I'm also gonna mix it with a little bit of the brown because I don't want this look to look too red underneath my eyes. So I'm gonna mix these two shades and then pop that, and just going to apply that. This is the final look. So for this look, I'm gonna go into, what shall we do? I'm gonna go into this shade right here and use that in my crease and just apply that in my crease area. It is a cool tone shade, but I find that it kind of works. Next, I'm gonna go with the deeper brown. A beautifully soft and rich color. I'm gonna then go in with Spectrum Brush 11 and just going to diffuse that out. Now that I've got the brown just kind of smudged out in the outer V, I'm gonna add a little bit of black. And I'm gonna pick up Spectrum Brush number 18 and just go into this black, and I'm just going to add it at the base here. After I've added the black, I'm gonna blend this out with Spectrum Brush 17. Just very softly, and that's really it. That black just blends out beautifully. So I've kept that black just at the edge, almost that wing shape, and really that's it. I'm not going to add any more black. And then I'm going to go into this green eyeshadow right here, and I'm just going to pick that up with my finger and apply that all over the eye. It's beautiful. And all I'm going to do is just blend that shimmer in that crease area. Now I'm going to take a little bit of this shade right here, and all I'm going to do is add that to the inner corner. Right here. Now I've just added concealer, so to finish off this eye look, I'm going to go back into that brown and just add that at the lower lash line, and I'm just going to add that lightly. I'm also adding a little bit of black just at the lash line as well. I just want to show you that if this green looks a little bit too vibrant and a bit too bright, this is not my favorite type of green. So what I can do is actually tone it down a little bit by just adding this shade right on top. So I'm going to take this shade and really just apply it on top. You will still have that green look, except it will be a little bit more muted and I think wearable. And so all I'm doing is applying this shimmer shade right on top. This is the final look. I hope you enjoyed those looks. I have definitely immensely enjoyed using this palette. I think if you haven't tried a Charlotte Tilbury palette before, this is actually a really good value for money. It's still expensive, of course, but it's still better than buying her quads, which end up being very expensive for just 4 shades. Here you're getting not only shades that complement brown skin really well, you get a color selection that's quite varied. You get a palette that's quite versatile and you can create lots of different looks with it. The quality is hands down amazing. You just need to make sure that if you're using those sparkle shades, you do your eye makeup prior to your face makeup application. Now, I know Charlotte Tilbury has come out with a palette before that was quite similar to this. I don't have that palette, so I have no idea what that looks like. Let me know, are you guys thinking about buying this? Have you tried a Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow formula below? Let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you guys in my next video. See ya!